Welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's greatest show, according to scientists. We did not say that. Scientists did. If anyone would like to help us out by donating, you can click the Acast supporter link in the description of this episode and every episode. You can donate any amount you want, and all the donations will go back into the podcast, into the equipment, and so on and so forth. We want to do loads of things. We have loads of ideas, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, again, the link is in the description. You can donate however amount you want. Over to the episode.
What's happening and what's going on, and what's, Greg is going back to Florida now next week, and I'm probably going to fly back out with him.
Lovely.
To Florida.
Okay.
The people that he's training at the moment, they're talking about sending over their own plane for me and pick me up at the.
Okay.
So if you want any drugs ready, come back.
I'll let you know. Get some good podcasts.
It's a private plane, so
is it? Back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's most returning podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. And if you're listening on Spotify, thanks for listening. We hope you're having a nice audio experience. What do you think, Stevie, about audio experiences? Stevie's our sound guy, and if would you wish the people at home a nice time listening?
Yeah, sure. Hopefully it's a sound time, you know.
Yeah, that's Stevie. Thanks, Stevie.
I don't know what to say. I've never been asked that
question. It's very hard to shut Stevie up once you get him going, you know. You can't get the word edgeways here.
That's the job.
We're also joined by Austin Broderick this week as well. How are you keeping anyway?
Very well, thank you very much, and thank you very much for Hugh for inviting me in. This is it's all new to me here.
Have you ever done a bit of an interview?
No, I never did anything like this before. But you look at my age, I'm within 3 months of being 80. I'm always on for new experiences.
Good. That's cool. That's mad. You're flying anyway. Look fresh.
It's a long time ago since I left school. I went to the Christian Brothers in Thurles here. And Jackie Andy was, and there was another teacher there. And anytime I used to be not behaving properly, he'd always say to me, "Come up to the board, ragman." You know, so
ragman, why?
Yeah, that's what they call me.
Huh?
Yeah,
it's just rags where you're from, is that what?
Come from the rag.
Okay, yeah.
Come up here to the ragman. But anyway, I just give a brief outline of when I started off, because I left school at that age anyway, and I was at home with my father on the farm. And
how did you leave school? You just decided you didn't know.
I just decided. Apart from that, my dad was anxious for me to. My other brothers, Con and PJ, they went on to third level, and I suppose probably maybe I should have done the same too. But maybe if I did, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today. You know, so that's the way it goes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I remember when I went down to George Urinovich, he was doing the David Brown tractors at the time, and £1,009, that was a tractor, a rotavator, a plough and a hedge cutter.
Whoa.
So Dad said to me, that's your lot now, make the best of it.
Yeah.
And there was no way it was £1,009. No way would George Urinovich house at the time drop to €9 or £9 it was the hope. Or even drop £2, not a hope. You had to get the £1,009. I went off anyway. I gave a couple of years rotavating and ploughing and doing all that. I said to myself, this is not for me. It was too slow, so I gave about 2 or 3 years of that, and this house came up in Thurles there in Croke Street in Thurles. And 5,000 pounds I gave for it, and I paid cash for the time, and I had more answers to the revenue after that. I think it was after paying 250,000 for it, the way they were coming after me. But anyway, that was grand. I got that done and rented, and then I said to myself, "Gee, this is handy money, because I never thought of that was going to be 50% of the pound and back to the tax man at that stage. That was the least of my worries at the time, because I was never too fond of paying the tax anyway. And then 2 more houses came up in beside the Wire Centre, and I bought one of them, I remember, for 7,000, and then the other one came up in about 12 months after us, and I bought it for 9,000.
That's where the student village is, isn't
That's
it?
where the student village is now. And Stakelers, I must say, in latter years came on, and they gave me £1 million for the site.
Whoa.
So that was a good.
At that time, was it?
At that time,
Yeah.
well, no. That was in the latter years there.
Oh, sorry,
latter years there.
Yeah,
So I kept building up the portfolio bit by bit, and we finished up with a lot of properties now. During the time of the recession there, I found it hard enough to hold on to them all, because the banks were coming after me from every angle. But I beat them all, and I kept it all, and I can put me 2 fingers up to them all now. So, I bet you.
So what would you have described? Like, were you like, how would you say? Is it like a landlord or realtor? How would you describe?
I never liked the name landlord, because I just always say Austin Broderick's flats.
Yeah.
Okay,
So and then I developed
but if someone asked, what did you do? What would you describe? Like, what would you say? what you wore? Would you be able to say that?
Well, I would say I was in business and
Just,
property.
Okay,
and that's probably the way I put
But you
it.
did a lot of things, didn't you?
I did, and then I went into lorries, and I kept lorries for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And that thing went to kind of slack then again, so I had to move on again, and then I went into the waste business.
Yeah, wow.
And I built up that waste business to the fact that AES they took over 2 or 3 big companies that time, and I remember Dr. Mercy and Nola Mara and Nina, he was a solicitor. He came to me and asked me, would I sell the waste business? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus, I was feared that when the film come, because at that time the council were closing in on any illegal dumping and all that kind of thing.
Oh God.
I did a small bit of my time as well,
and that was part of your model, wasn't it? Yeah.
So I said,
You sold all the liabilities
when
with it,
they
didn't you?
came and I sold the whole lot to them, and they gave me another £1 million for that time.
No way, wow.
For the waste business at that time.
So you're happy to get
And kept me on as a director, and paid me 20,000 a year for going around. Holding on to the business that I had, because there's no guarantee when you sell a business that year. The people that buy it off you. What I mean is that your clients can move to any other waste business they want to.
You see that a lot of businesses making the mistake, thinking they can buy a business, fire everyone, clear the new team, and like.
So they put me on that, hoping that I'd hold on to the business. So
because you'd have the relationship with the customers.
Yeah,
exactly.
That worked for 4 or 5 years. That was the handiest 20,000 I had for a long time. And they actually insured my Jeep for me and everything. But then I crashed the Jeep, and they finished their insurance with me, so they took the insurance back off me. But anyway, everything was okay. But in the meantime, Greg left school in Borrisree after knowing he's leaving.
Yeah.
And I was always on him. At that time as well, I was training. I had my own license for training horses.
Yeah.
And I was training on my own Pied Pipers. So we had about 15 horses that over the space of a few years, and most of them won for us. Most of the horses won that time for us, because we used Gannon's Hill up there, and I remember, I tell you a funny story, that one of my Pied Pipers was running down in Dromore, across from Dromore Castle.
Yeah.
And I had a furniture shop as well down in the arcade.
How did you have the time for all this?
Pardon?
How did you have the time for all of this?
Well, sure, I was working from, oftentimes get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's trouble, there's water running down from a sink upstairs in the flats, and Jesus.
But you enjoy it though? Is it all stressful?
I enjoyed it, But the funny story is, anyway, I remember we were closing the shop at my daughters used to work in it during the summer and they hated the furniture. Jesus, they hated it. But this fella pulled up, it was a Jeep at 6:05 one evening. He said, sir, what do you have for that piece of furniture? He said, 600 quid. No problem, we take it.
Yeah.
That's grand. Jesus, I said, 6,600 euros for a piece of furniture at 6:05 in the evening, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
On a Saturday evening. But the furniture in the Jeep anyway, the van off he went anyway. So I went into a shop we were renting next door, it was the pound shop. I said, would you look at them, that nothing, see, is that money okay? Because there's something suspicious. Jesus, the first 250 was perfect. Another 350 were all fakes.
No way.
Oh, no.
That's mad.
So anyway, I said to myself, I have to get rid of this now some way.
Did you succeed?
So I had two horses running down in Dromore the following day after.
Yeah.
John Thomas O'Mara, the Lord mercy him, he fell off and he died since. He broke his back.
Oh.
He was riding the first horse with me and he was 5-2. And I said to John Thomas, he said, this horse will definitely win today. So I went up to the bookie and handed him the 350 euro fake money.
Yeah.
He never looked at it, handed him the money, 5-2, took the money off me, horse one handy.
No
I got back
way.
the money and I got back no fake £50 note.
Well, what was the winnings? You remember what the winnings was?
I don't know, it was 5 horses, 5-2 anyway.
Okay,
And I
right.
put on 350 euros at the time, it was 5-2, so
Nice.
whatever I got that
so
time
it's a
anyway.
fair bit.
So it's
For a
good
few
bet,
fake
yeah.
50s. Yeah.
And I was in the next race then, and John Thomas couldn't ride for me because he was somebody else had him booked to ride the next race.
Yeah.
So actually, we finished second, and I got a fella brought from Littleton, Poland.
Okay, yeah.
He mad bastard, sure. He was coming about 20 lengths to win. And take his time in the last fence. What he doing? He drove the horse onto the last fence and turned upside down.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
And he was so far in front is that he got up on the horse and finished second.
That's very good.
So when in the meantime, then Greg started. He was. I was always trying to get him to ride ponies, and that. No, he wouldn't ride ponies. Right. But he fell off of a pony one time, and then he didn't look at him for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then he went off playing golf, and he was. Even though I say, but Greg was a brilliant golfer at the time. He would make a great success with it if he had to stay at it. But anyway, he came back from school. When he finished in the evening, he put the bag in the car. I said, Dad, that's it. I'd go back to the horses. So. It's very successful. Even though I say myself, it has been a very successful story.
Yeah.
Because
you wouldn't believe it if someone made it up.
No, you wouldn't know. But I remember the first I went to Germany with Greg and Keith O'Connor to buy one of our first horses that I wanted to give him because I spent a good few quid on horses to get Greg, because there's no point in giving him a horse for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5,000 if you didn't give him a horse for a fairly good horse there at the outset. He wasn't going to make it, you know what I mean? That's the thing about it, So it's very same as a rally driver. He hasn't a good car, he's not going to win a race. No matter how good the driver is, unless the engine is good under him, But anyway, I remember Keith O'Connor, we met him in at the airport anyway. And this fella picked up in the car, Mercedes car. We're driving down through Germany, and I looked at the speedometer in the car, and your man was doing 260 miles an hour, and he had a cigar in this hand, and he had a phone in this hand.
Oh, jeez!
I said to him, "Hold on there 1 second." I said, "Pull up! I'm getting out." Why? He said, they could do it. There's no limit on the speed on in Germany.
Autobahn,
So
the motorways.
At least he put it back to something normal and we set it down. But anyway, I was greedy enough at that time about and Greg was as well, about picking up good shows over the horses. You know what I mean? But of course they knew we were coming, and when I say to you that the horse ready, you ready a horse if you think that buyer coming in, you have the horse that jumping nice, that there. This horse would jump the house here for you.
Wow,
unbelievable. Yeah. And I think at that time I gave him, and that was a lot of money. I gave 160,000 for that horse.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And was it good?
We came home after about a week. The horse was starting to nap. When I say horse started to nap, the driver gets up in his back and the horse will turn left or right. Doesn't want to go forward, right? You know what I mean? So the horse was tried beyond all before we got him, and it was war. But we never got any money back. Because
you could never get him.
We could never get him to do what we wanted him to do. What he was supposed to be able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the one bad experience that we had.
Felt like you're a bit cheated by it, or was it just that he changed in the land, or I don't know?
No.
Yeah.
They had him
ready.
They had him ready beforehand. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
And you see.
What did you learn from that though? Like how
you learned an awful lot from it. Because
160 grand's worth of learning.
You learned an awful lot from it. The fact of the matter is that when I say getting ready horse, most people don't do that to a horse now. We'd never touch the horse, do that. But they were dealers.
Did you buy the second horse? How did you know what to do?
Well, we were more careful then, and then we were starting to get to know. I was starting to get to know a lot more about what those fellas would be doing to a horse. We were more careful, and then Greg started to get some good horses to ride.
Lovely.
And then he came across Going Global, who was the horse that he went to the Olympics with and that he won the Aggie Can with.
Yeah, that was
and that horse, there's a lady from Canada. He picked out this horse, Greg, himself down in Carlow, from Tom Brennan in Carlow. The horse was called Going Global.
Yes.
And the horse cost 150,000. So Greg rang this Canadian woman, and he said, I have a nice horse here. I think he'd probably suit you. So she bought him at that time for 150,000.
Wow.
And Greg brought him on from a 5-year-old up to he had double clear around in the Aggie Can. On the first team he was Aggie Can, they won the Aggie Can in Dublin.
Okay.
Greg had double clear rounds with him. And the second year he was the Aggie Can team again. And the horse had double clear rounds again. But the second year, they were level with, I think it was one of the other countries, Sweden or thing. So they picked out a rider from each one rider from each four. There's 4 riders in the team.
Yeah.
So Dennis Lynch went on the Irish team, and whatever Swedish that went. Unfortunately, Dennis Lynch had to go first. And he went too hard because of the speed, and the horse ran out just at the very last fence.
Oh God.
So that's why Ireland finished second in the second year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what would winning? How does the value of horses goes up when you win competitions like that?
Savage.
Yeah.
So
what did it go from 150,000 to 2 million or something? Was it or something like that? No,
he was sold for way more than that.
It was loads of loads of millions. It was.
But then he was Greg. Then done a good few shows out foreign.
Yeah.
And the horse was excuse me. The horse was winning quite a lot out foreign at the time, and the commentators were wondering to know where did this horse come out of. At that time, Greg was non-direct on the foreign circuit at all.
Yes.
And this fella from Tipperary comes on and starts winning the big classes against the lads that are at it all the time. So then he came to the Olympics, and that time there was only sending one horse to the Olympics. The team wasn't going, so the individual. So Greg was after picked, and there was a lot of jealousy over that with some of the lads, Bertram and Keith O'Connor and the fellas that thought that they were automatic, they should be picked. But Greg was picked anyway. The horse jumped exceptionally well over there, but unfortunately he put his tipped his foot into the water and gave him 4 falls. That knocked him out in the second round. Okay, So, and they appealed that decision several times beyond the Olympics at the time, but no, they stood.
To some excitement, wasn't it, at the time?
It was unbelievable,
brilliant.
So the horse came back then, and he was sold for a lot of money on Estes.
How much are you able to say how much he was sold for?
Around 10 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
From 150,000
Yeah.
10 million. Wow. God, that's mad.
And it was Tino and Asses that bought the horse.
How many years was that in between? Just like of how many years of work was in the horse for it to be, for it to go up to that value?
We sold him. We had him as a 5. We sold him at 9 or 10 at which.
Wow, so God, that's a lot. It's quick.
So Tino and Asses came in to buy him. She just came in. She flew into Shannon Airport, and we picked her up in Shannon. She had herself and her trainer there. And she was, it's ordinary as anybody, you never say she was Tino and Asses, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Just jumped the horse and sat down and had a cup of tea and loved the horse and came back the day after and said they were going to keep him.
That's amazing.
But she knew what she was facing. She knew what she was seeing because she'd seen it already.
The horse never did anything for her.
I know.
Right.
But still,
she had some good fun at him, but she had falls all the time, 4 and 5 and 6 falls the whole time. And now he's injured and he's out the field, so I'd say he won't jump anymore.
So do you think he brought him up to the highest value?
We brought him. We had him at his top.
Yeah, and you got.
But he was all. We're all the time have him. Greg was looking after him continuously, and we had him on all kinds of things to make him right. You know what I mean? And you have to have vets with him all the time.
But you've a fantastic setup out there, haven't you?
Well, see, I must say, Greg
and
is
three of them, the girls as well.
Greg and Olga and Cheryl, my 2 daughters as well. Olga was a scientist, so she retired from her job. I know she retired or take leave of absence from her job, but she's there for a long time. And Cheryl was teaching, and Cheryl looks after all the breeding end of the farm now, and Olga looks after a lot of the clients coming in and the business end of the stake, So that horse helped Greg to get into the top bracket because
his name
there's no point in thinking that you're going to sell expensive horses here in Ireland. We're a very small country with 3.5 million people. But if you have to go to the American market where there's 370 million, and the funny part is as well, just about 3 months ago, this fella from Mexico rang us. Rang Cheryl, and he was never in Ireland before. He just saw we had some stuff up on Facebook, and he came over. Then when the COVID was over, his wife and himself, their trainer and 2 daughters, and he finished up buying 5 horses.
Wow.
Okay, whoa.
But you're breeding them and everything out there, aren't you?
Yeah, we have 50 mares breeding at the moment now, and Cheryl, my daughter, she does all the inseminating and all the embryos. We do a lot of.
She's very knowledgeable about the whole thing.
Do you know what embryos mean? What does it mean?
Well, like the babe, like the beginning of the baby, isn't it?
Yeah. So you put in a brood mare first, isn't it, or something, and then take them out.
Yeah,
and
just want to see how knowledgeable you are.
Oh yeah. But Charlie give me the whole class in this already. Yeah.
You inseminate. Say we have a good mare jumping there. We bring her in and we bring this, make sure she comes into season.
Yeah.
But then you have to have a donor mare there. Yeah. Has to be in the season at the very same time.
Okay.
So you leave the embryo in the mare for 8 days.
Okay. Right.
Okay. And then
you take out the embryo
and put it into.
But you have to have the donor mare ready then. To transfer the egg in. Well, 70% success about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember that. They say about this very funny. We took two eggs out of the mare one day.
Okay.
And we put one of them into each mare, 2 different mares. You're counting twins. There would be twins, you know what I mean? But one horse grew to 16.2 and the other fella never grew.
You're joking.
That's mad.
I was asking Cheryl about this before, like with the...
That's the only time it happened. But that's the 2 embryos came out at one time.
Yeah.
I didn't think the kind of brood mare or whatever mattered that much, did it? It does. It does to the whole process.
Oh, it does.
But the
mare that you're putting in the embryo into doesn't matter.
That's what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
She's not.
She doesn't matter. Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, that's what.
No, it's the mare that you're taking the embryo.
Yeah, I knew that would because you're taking genetic.
That's right.
You're taking genetic information from them.
And then another funny is that we bought two mares in Belgium with the. They were in foal, the embryos were in them, but they were by very top sires in Belgium. But the reason why we got them is that they said they they had them scanned. They knew what they were colts or fillies
Okay.
in the mares, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So the way they were bred there, they wouldn't sell you their fillies.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
So they had the mares. So they told us the mares were scanned as colts. So we bought them on that condition.
Lovely.
And the 2 mares foal last year, they're 2 filly foals.
Ah, brilliant.
Oh, yeah. That's
And are they raging? The other
Yeah,
person?
what's the Jesus? You know what I mean?
Did you send them a thank you card?
Oh, no, we didn't say anything. We kept the low profile. You know? We kept the low profile.
You're saying the price, the value, like at that 10 million for, you know, horse for a lot of work. Well, when you're dealing with like raising horse yourself, is there an average price you're sort of getting in Ireland or?
But see, the thing is that this is the other side that we are now trying to improve our breeding, you know, because there's no point anymore unless you have the Belgians and the Americans and the Germans come in here. We sold all our good mares off to the Italians back 20 years ago.
Okay, right.
And then we started breeding off of bad mares and bad sires, and you get 2,000 or 3,000 euro for your foals. That wasn't paid anymore.
Yeah,
really. But Greg is after giving 40, 50, 60,000 for filly foals out in thing, and we're going to breed off it.
You're taking it to another level altogether.
Well, we have. Well, Greg wants to get to that level, and he's nearly there now as regards the breeding there now, because we're improving. That the mares that we put in foal 8 years ago, we wouldn't look at them now.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't be in our category at all.
And is it purely valued, like, is it valued like after they spend some time in shows and races, or can you do a value based on their genes?
Well, you see, the thing about it is that when you buy a mare to breed off if we go to buy a foal now, a filly foal out foreign, breed off the dam would have to have jumped up to 150, 160.
Okay, yeah. So
You're buying top pedigrees.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
You won't buy, you know, if you don't do that there, you're going up this, you know.
Yeah.
And now a lot of, it's for the time your mare goes in foal there, to the time that you can work the horse and know how good it is, it's going to be 5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
And how much is it genetics versus like what you do with the horse then afterwards? Like,
well, you see, genetic wise, the good mares now, we're taking debris out of them, and Greg is jumping them on.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
We in this country too, if you have put a 3-year-old mare in foal, she'll be 4 when she foals. But the government will allow you to go back a year then with the mare. She's still only classed as a 3-year-old.
Okay.
Oh, that's mad.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, we have a state of the art, even though I say myself, built at home now. Though.
Yeah.
And Greg is fierce meticulous. Everything has to be 100% right.
That's good though. I mean, that's how you get there. Like
cleanliness and everything has to be 100%. And then Greg bought a farm outside Borrislee there 2 years ago. There's 230 acres there.
Yeah.
And we're developing that farm now at the moment.
What's the name of the place again? It's Cook's place, is it, or what is it?
Fort William.
Fort William, that's it. It's a lovely place, yeah.
And at the moment Greg has, on the whole farm there, he has roads built around the whole farm, so you can get into your car and you can drive around the whole farm.
That's cool, yeah.
And he's putting every 2 or 3 fields there, he has a place where the horse can run into, and you can load them. And catch them and load them, and it's to save a lot of hassle, a lot of.
Were you jumping yourself?
I jumped as a metre 10.
Did you?
That was. But that time I was fond of women. And if you had a horse jumping there, you'll be on the wagon the whole time.
Very good.
They think if you had a horse jumping there, you were in business.
You were elected,
you'll be active. So.
Yeah.
And, so I found that's one of the main reasons why I was.
Were you going show jumping and
I went to
hunting and everything?
Then I got involved in the Golden Vale hunt. There, I gave 12 years chairman of the Golden Vale, and I broke my hip twice out there. I was hunting.
Yeah.
I remember that I went to Bruff to a 3-day event in Bruff, County Limerick, and you go doubles singles and pairs. You doubles, two people together. So I did the 3 things over the course of the same horse.
Yeah.
And we had the lawn meet at our own house at the Rag the following day, Sunday. So my second horse was Liam. So I brought out the same horse that had at that thing. And of course he was stiff a bit.
Yeah.
And I came to the first fence, was four strands of tawny wire like that there. I turned the horse to the 4 strands of tawny wire, he caught the top of it. He came down and made shite of my knee.
Oh. Came onto your knee, did he fall onto your knee, was it?
Well, it was something the way I fell, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I remember the Lord Mercy and Jerry Casey, Casey, Jerry Hall time. Jerry took me to Dublin, to the hospital in Dublin. No, actually, I went down to Kilkenny first, and they told me they were going to straighten my leg. And Maureen, at the time, she said, no way, not going to straighten his leg. So I went up to Dublin to a hospital, and they made it okay. That was grand. I was back again. I was back riding again, hunting again, grand, and went out to Turtle to a hunt. And
what do you hunt? Sorry, how does
fox hunting?
Okay, yeah.
And I was flying again, and I was passed out this horse, and he was a horse. The fella had a red ribbon on his tail, and that showed that he'd kick, but he shouldn't have been up near the pack in front. The horse threw a kick at me and met me into the same knee and broke it again.
Oh God. That's mad, the same knee as well.
And Eamon Lasheen always said there that when he came over to me, Eamon was always hunting the same day. And I said, Eamon always makes a speech of it. I said to Eamon, Jesus, Eamon, and I'm so fucking busy at home.
Hadn't time for this shit.
And
did that drive you mental being out of action for a minute? What? Oh, do you?
I was sorry, remember you were saying you'd go at 5, but if you do, if you're all, it's all right.
Did that drive you mental when you were out of action at all?
I didn't like it.
How did you fucking keep the businesses and everything going?
I had to do it.
On the phone?
Yeah. But prior to that, I remember I went down hunting with the Tipperaries.
Yeah.
And we went across this ditch. There was a lot of big bushes and briars, and I used to be devil for going. That the horse go ahead. Took the glasses off my face. I couldn't find them, and I had to drive home from near Rose Green, and I couldn't see a still. I was blind as a bat. No glasses.
Oh shit! Oh man. What happened then? You had a big accident then. What, a couple of years ago, was it, or what? I had a couple. I had an aneurysm done first in Dublin. I remember I was down in. I was going to meet this surgeon in Limerick, and he said to me that an aneurysm has to grow to the 5.6 by tummy. He said, and to wait until it's 6.7 or 6.8 or something like that. Yeah. So I was at a show in Dublin, and. What's called him, the singer fella from Bruce Springsteen, is it?
No, from Johnstown there. The heavy fella. What's called him?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Bruce Springsteen, anyway.
He's a big. He sang for the president and all that.
Yeah.
He lost one of his legs. He lost
two. He was born that way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I know the legend. Tynan.
Yeah,
Ronan Tynan.
Yeah.
So Ronan Tynan said to me, he said, Austin, you better go to Dublin, he said.
Yeah.
And get...
He's into show jumping as well.
It was, yeah. So that was on Sunday. So he told me who to go to in Buggenamaster. So from Monday morning, 10 o'clock, I rang the surgeon at Buggenamaster private, and his secretary answered the phone. And the secretary said to me, this man can see you, take anyone for 3 months. Oh, Jesus, I said, no, I'm a personal friend of his. You're what, she said? Yeah. I'm a personal friend of the surgeons.
Yeah.
Oh.
And were you? Like you
hold on there, she said, so a second. And she came back to me and be here at 3 o'clock.
Okay, right.
Into the train and up to like a fashion. In I met him and we shook hands. Yeah. He said, I believe we know each other. I don't know you. I said from up the sky over you. I took a chance. I said they're coming up. And I told him the story. He had me on the table in 2 weeks. Wow. The reading I was getting in Limerick was totally off.
Oh wow!
And if I had to stay with the lad Limerick, my aneurysm would have burst, and I'd probably no more. Yeah. And I remember I was moving in the hospital in Basher, and Fool's Day came up. Yeah. And Michael Lowry rang me. He said, we have to think of something to do Fool's Day. Yeah.
And Jason Michael, I said, I'm going to the fucking operating table in half an hour's time. Do you know what we do? He said, ring up Tip FM, he said, and let on now that you're after finding that you owned the land, Simple Stadium. that your great grandfather had it, and you now have to come into light. So I got on Tip FM the next day. I said, I've good news for you. I said, you can tell the boys there, all the hierarchy, that they have to come to me now from now on. If they want to use the field. Up to Jesus. And then Lowry came onto it. And
so you were on Tip FM and you saying that?
Yeah, and Lowry came on Tip FM then. How God are you? I don't know what's the Welsh. You'd always see him around. He said, with the big haggis were stuck in his pocket. He said, the white pants walking around. And Lowry said, I think that same, they could own the bishop that the dog track across the road as well. You know? So next anyway, they had to take it. Lowry said, after about half an hour, I mean, she said, we have to take it off there. He said, that lads, she have gone mental. They called it the total Simple Stadium.
That's very funny. That's right.
So that was a great story anyway. I really enjoyed that.
Were you ringing from the operating table?
I was thinking he came in to see me for a minute, and he said, I said, I'm on the Tip event for half an hour.
That's funny.
Oh, well, did he cut out the aneurysm? Or
He did a perfect job, man. And when I came back, I was, for about 3 weeks after coming back, I said, I'm going to ring this fucker in Limerick that gave me the wrong readings.
Yeah.
And I picked up the phone, and I got Miss Collie answered the phone to me. I said, do you know something? I said to him, yes, Mr. Broderick was, you are the biggest bollocks I ever met in my life. Why? He said, you gave me wrong readings, the aneurysm. I have the aneurysm done now. It was 6.9 or something. You gave me 5.2. Mr. Broderick, I don't read the scans.
No way.
Just have to get a new measuring tape.
So that's you know.
So who, so is there someone else in the team?
Be,
So I suppose it's supposed they don't read. They're supposed to. They're supposed to. It's would it be the people that radiographer read the scans? I say, you know, I'd say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. And then that was grand. I had a couple of things. Then 3 or 4 years ago, I got a cut in my heel, and I didn't. I looked after it for a while, and then I let it go. You know, go careless was. And the next thing is, I got an infection in my leg, and the infection came into cellulitis, and the infection went on up into the steel of my hip, and they couldn't. I gave 12 months down in Washford in a hospital, in an isolated room.
Oh, shite.
And
12 months.
Yeah, in Washford. Wow. Yeah, and I went to. I said to myself, someone told Greg about some good specialist in London, in a private hospital in London. So we went over to him anyway, and he said, "There's no problem." He said, "Showed me to a nice room, and this blood came in, and there was the ribby hair out of her place in her head. She was grand." And she said, "We take our money before we book you in here."
Okay.
Well, I said, "That's fine. That's no problem." I said, and how much is it? Well, you're staying the night, she said, and we'll be taking swabs out your hip in the morning, and then we'll let you home. I'll take 12,000 off you, she said.
Wow.
And if there's more, we'll let you know. If it's less, if it's less, we'll give it back to you.
And was it less? No.
If it's less, we'll give it back to you. That's a mad business. That's a mad thing to say.
So then we did meet the surgeon, and he said 3 weeks' time. He said we'll grow an antibiotic here on our
lab.
In the lab, they have the growth antibiotic. And he said, I'll assure you, he said, we'll get an antibiotic that'll cure you.
Wow.
And I rang him 3 or 4 times after 3 weeks, and next day I got through to him and said, well, what's the story? We're unsuccessful.
With making it, was it?
Yeah.
They were unsuccessful with making the
antibiotic. Yeah.
That's mad, yeah.
And then I went to America.
Did you ask him where he got the 12 grand?
and my own surgeon, I have to say, Mr. McKenna, he was so brilliant. He said to me, Austin, you can go to those places there, but I guarantee you, he said, I have all that tested and tried. You will not get an antibiotic that'll kill that infection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I came back to the hospital then, and he said to me that, in the meantime then they let me home for a weekend, and I was getting dizzy. And I had blood pressure. They had the tablets cut down too low, so I got low blood pressure. And I fell, and I broke the leg again. I broke the leg over my knee, just cracked open again.
Shit.
And I went down to him again on the Monday, and he said to me, "Are you at home with that pain, with that leg since Friday evening?" I said, "I am, yeah." "How did you stick the pain?" He said, "I don't know." I said, I had to. But anyway, they x-rayed it all again. He said, "Look, it's like this, Austin. You'll have to go back into the bed for 6 months with your leg in a cast. And there's no guarantee that we'll be able to do anything else for you. So I'd advise you to get the leg off."
Yeah.
Wow.
So he said, "You can think about that for a while," he said. But he said, I won't take your leg off. I'm going to bring a special surgeon from America that was in Afghanistan, was doing all the amputations and the war on the soldiers. And they came there and they took it off from the whole lot off from the very hip down. They leave anything.
So what was it like with you? What was the time when you were trying to make that decision? Like, how was...
It was no bother to make the decision because I tell you why.
No choice.
I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
He told me I would go back into bed again for 6 months and my leg up in a cage.
Yeah.
And you couldn't and you couldn't go to the toilet without a nurse coming in or do something. I said, "Oh Jesus," I said, "this take it off," I said. "Are you sure?" They said. So I said, "Take it off." So they did. And that's where I am now. I know I went up to Dunleary then, so I can still go back to them. I was supposed to go back up twice. I went up 2 or 3 times anyway to Dunleary.
Yeah.
They assessed me to see was I suitable for a leg. Right. So they said I was. But then they're making it.
Just for like a prosthetic leg.
They have to put a big kind of a corset all around me here.
Yeah.
They attach the leg under it. It's not a big job, but they have to give 3 months in hospital again in Dunleary to teach me to walk.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But anyone that's listening out there, get a leg off there. I have yet to see. I'm 3 years now with the leg off, and I never met one other person walking around or driving with a leg off. I have to meet him. I have never met him.
I don't. Hang on a sec. You haven't met anyone else with a leg off?
The whole leg off.
But that doesn't have a prosthetic or anything, is what you're saying. That's walking around with just...
I've never met a person yet that's walking with one leg.
No, I agree. I haven't seen it. You're the only one I'd see around.
I had a friend in Mississippi with one leg.
Well, I'm talking William Ireland now I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
No, but it is mad. Like, so they'd always go and get a prosthetic or...
Yeah, because to be okay, nobody get one if you have a stump lift.
Yeah.
That's no problem. But I have nothing left.
Yeah. I think he had a stump left. Yeah.
Oh, I guarantee you they had. You know.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that that it's tough at times because it's easier to stay in bed.
Yeah.
Than get up if you want a strong-willed person.
Yeah.
You know,
of course.
Because I say I'm lucky enough with my family; they're great to me, and I went to change. I changed my Jeep around, to suit my
driving.
Private. I have 2 or 3 scooters. I come to home and go.
Yeah.
But still, at the same time, I'm after getting 3 or 4 falls. Since there, I broke 2 ribs there about 2 months ago, and I had a hairline fracture in my back for another fall. But you have to be so careful all the time,
Yeah.
And there's things you'd love to do. I often say to myself, go to matches and see everybody walking, and here I am with a pair of crutches and that. And as well as that, I mean, there's the facilities for people on wheelchairs. It's so bad.
Yeah, in Ireland.
In Ireland,
yeah.
It's so bad. There's one particular place I just frequented, and it's a hotel. And the door of the bathroom opens in.
Okay, right.
So if you go in a wheelchair,
you can't turn the wheelchair inside because the door.
It's small.
You need to be able to pull it after you.
So I said to him, "Would you mind
Change it.
just change the door around?" That was 2 years ago.
Still haven't.
That's
So-
mad. Yeah, even he was pointing
We were
out
talking
to
about that
me
lately, yeah. The amount of
places in town that you...
The amount of places in town you couldn't get in a wheelchair. Like the amount of business in town where there's
Were you on one?
No. I just noticed it myself one day. I just walking around and I just kind of started looking at like how many businesses in town have a step or stairs going into.
They
them.
haven't.
Yeah,
No, no, but I mean like that only have steps or stairs. They've no lift. They've no ramp. So like,
no.
or the doors are too narrow for a wheelchair. Like I can't imagine
There's lots
trying to
of
get around
But
toilets.
say if I was in a wheelchair, now, if I hadn't been able to walk and go in with crutches, go to toilets, I'd love to know how I'd manage.
Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Or even
you're
I
beside yourself, and that's I have to say that that's
Yeah.
those are the facts of it, and there's nobody talking about it. There's nobody saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There should be something done about it. It's crazy. Do you know?
it's like
Do you know?
It is mad because it's just like I didn't even notice until you were pointing out this place in town that the only way that are only upstairs. You have to go up a stairs just to get into him, and it's like, wow, that is
and
mad.
like once you think about it, like and once you notice it, like you see how difficult it is for anyone with any mobility issues around town. Like there's so many places they just can't go. Like,
And I'm sure the same in every town in Ireland then as well. Like, do you mind me asking, like, after it happened, like, what was like the first, like, because you seem now like to be, I don't know, full of energy and which is really like inspiring in a way to see that. Like, what was the first like few weeks after it happened like for you? How was that? Like,
Well, the very first day I came home,
yeah.
I went up the road with a wheelchair to drag for my dinner.
Okay, right. That's cool.
Fair
The
play,
very
yeah.
first day.
Yeah.
That's class.
There's something there's something about you though that you're never bet.
I think so. I get that impression. First time meeting you, I get that impression.
And there was lads ringing back to Greg and to Olga and Cheryl. Austin's up the road in a wheelchair. Jesus Christ, he get knocked down. You never know.
Yeah.
I said no, I went to wheelchair now.
Yeah, I know.
You just went up on your own, like first day.
Gone,
Fair play.
they never knew I was gone.
I know.
That's mad.
That reminds me of my dad as well. He's a bit like that. He's the Parkinson's walking aid. I was driving home one day and I saw the walking aid out on the road. And I went, oh God, he's after getting killed or something like that. But I noticed the walking aid thing had taken off on its own. He was up on a ladder painting.
Jesus Christ,
It's the same thing, isn't it? Shag him. Drive it on.
That's mad, though. Where do you think, what gives you that drive to do it, though? Because that's a really, like, that's a big
You were always
event.
like that, weren't you?
But see, that if I hadn't that drive there, I had that in because at the time, I had lorries, I had dumpers, I had skips, I had farming, I had all the properties. No, I was going 10, 15 hours, 20 hours a day.
Like,
And I loved that one. I don't like to sit down, I don't like to be doing I have to have, I know Greg and the girls at home sometimes because I have to be involved and I have to know everything that's happening, unfortunately. And it's not my business half the time. But I want to know exactly what's happening and what's going on and what's, you know, and Greg is going back to Florida now next week, and I'm probably going to fly back out with him.
Lovely.
To Florida.
Okay.
The people that he's training at the moment, they're talking about sending over their own plane for me and pick me up at the. So if you want any drugs ready, come back.
I'll let you know. Get some good podcasts.
It's a private plane, so
is it?
Oh yeah, their own plane.
And where are you landing? Shannon or somewhere?
The Shannon.
So you definitely can bring some stuff
you
back.
can go down, drive into the plane and on your motor and off you go. But the only thing is, I don't know whether it is whether there's 3 engines. I hope there's more than 1 engine anyway. Because
I know their jokes are mad, aren't they? They can be those small private, like if they're even the big private planes, or even like I don't know.
I'd be half nervous of them.
Yeah.
Because my 80th birthday is the 27th of May.
Oh, come
okay,
on.
right. So you'll be going around at that time, is it?
No. I'm going to have a good do at it from my 80th anyway.
Oh, right.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And I hope I live to only a few months down the road.
You will.
But I don't feel, to be honest with you, I don't feel 80. Good, bad, and different.
No. People say, you don't look your age, and I think half the time they're bullshitting. But I do mean it. Like I wouldn't. When you said that was your age, I was shocked because you have the energy of Even more, you're doing more than I'm doing. You're still flying, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know,
I would have been at 2 o'clock. The fella rang me last night and invited me out to his house. But Lord Jesus, tonight, I tell you what, if I was a drinker, the bar in the house.
What?
He had every drink you had ever missed in your lifetime.
Yeah.
He had 3 or 4 different things of Jameson and Scotch.
Lovely.
Brandies and
lovely.
I'm not a drinker at all, but I had a couple this morning. But Jesus, I left it at 2 o'clock this morning anyway, and it was
happy hour.
I'm flying it now. God.
But there's another gas there with there's one particular guy there in town. He's kind of a half set on me, and he pulled me up. He pulled me up a good up Killeen there.
Yeah.
There a while ago, and he said to me, "I'm going to take that Jeep off you."
Yeah.
But God, I said, "You're welcome to it." Open the door there, and let me out. I said, "Give it to you." He's next to his side on one leg, and I said, "You know something?" I said, "You're the biggest clown I ever met."
Yeah.
"Excuse me," he said. "Do you hear what I said?" "Go back in Tippermore and let them off the book. I haven't to pay taxes. See, I have no tax in it.
Yeah.
My taxes, I'm free of tax."
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they counted the leg off.
Okay, right. Okay.
So I said to him, "Well, you go back in Tippermore and read the rules." And don't be wasting your time putting me up.
What he said?
He'd like it. Don't be cheeky the next time, he said.
That's very funny.
That's class. Yeah.
That's right, good.
But that's just, I mean, that's just at the moment now we have about 70 or 80 horses in riding out at the moment. Every of them have to be ridden out every day.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And we have about 350 or 60 horses on the farm at the moment.
That's
And you might say, why have you that many there? But see, the thing is, when you're breeding 50 foals each year, you're 50 year-olds then, you're 52-year-olds, you've got 53-year-olds.
Yeah.
When they come to 3-year-olds, we'd be weeding them out because Greg would be going through them and see which ones
Are the runners.
are look to be good enough to go on with, you know.
Yeah.
And
what do you do with the ones that aren't good enough? You just sell them off?
Sell them off. But Cheryl is great too. She has customers for nice horses that are at the real top, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hunting or whatever.
Yeah, and that was a problem which was before trying to get those sold. But now Cheryl is after she's making her own market. You know, they're great, you know, the Chinese now are at the moment they're trying to be coming into us now.
Yeah.
They want they want horses for the next Olympics.
That's right. They've got good money for horses, I'd say.
So
they'll be the ones.
But to get them to come in with this COVID thing and all the thing was eventually they'll come. And
that's all easing now, thank God, and isn't it? Hopefully,
COVID is easing a bit.
Yeah. Do you know what? Can I ask a bit about your experience at property? You have a lot of experience at property. What was it like dealing with, like, because I see landlords, like sometimes, landlords, people who deal with property and stuff, where you have tenants, like what was it like? Because I know, like, I'd imagine it could be a bit of hassle sometimes to deal with. There's a lot of, like, I don't know. How did you find? How was your time?
Very few people would stick the hassle of things. Especially some tenants are. I remember one woman, she rang me from Lambsborough. I call it Lambsborough. She said to me, "Your cooker and the washing machine are broken. And if I happen them in here by this evening," she said, "I'm going to the council and I'm going to report you." So I rang Steakums anyway. I said, "Will you send up the cooker and the fridge and the thing, the washing machine up to that woman there in the corner?" So she said they would anyway. So 2 days afterwards, I went in to see if I was wrong. Yes, I noticed the curtains put across it. No one there. I went in to open the key. She was gone. She had a washing machine and washing machine and cooker gone to a flat in Limerick.
No way.
Lovely.
What the hell? That's mad. That's so good.
I know.
Can really respect this, sorry.
And I went in then to because she was on the harp.
Yeah.
So I went into the one over the harp. In Thurles here. I said, "Will you give me her address, a name of this woman? I told her it have to happen." confidentiality of the thing. I can't give it to you. Jesus Christ, that you're taking the fucking cook and with her. You cannot tell me. No, wouldn't tell me.
That is mad.
But after saying all that, there's some terrible signs there.
Yeah.
Some.
I know.
And
I was telling you about your one on the Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like, how do you deal with that kind of thing? You know. Remember, I was saying, I remember you shouting up at the one. She was saying, "What do you want?" out the window, and you said, "I want the rent." And she said, "I told you to come back Wednesday." Yeah. And you said, "Today is Wednesday." And she said, "Well, then come back next Wednesday." What do you do there? There's nothing you can do, is there?
Nothing you can do about it, no.
You just have to come back next Wednesday.
The thing of it is that Olga has taken over all of them now. And would you believe it? Olga loves it.
No hassle.
But she's put in a better clientele than I was putting in.
Okay.
Do you know that? But she's been caught once or twice now too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Nature of it,
like we had up in Mitchell Street, we had a place idle there because we were going to do it up. And the other night there, lads went into 3 or 4 places idle along that street there and pulled all the toilets off the walls, and you know what I mean, for no reason at all.
Some party type of thing, or just people broke into it.
They knew where 2 or 3 places idle. One of ours, we had one place idle.
Yeah.
And they went got in the back window, broke the back window, and just pulled the stuff off of the walls.
Jeez, for no reason.
I was renting a place in England, you know, and all the walls were face block, so you couldn't do much damage. But also they had a cleaner coming in once a week, and she didn't really do a whole lot of cleaning, but just to give out to you. Do you know what I mean? And I thought that was a good old system, that it was their way of keeping an eye on us. Like, you know what I mean? And that way, like, she'd ate the head off you if there was something left anywhere, and threaten you with this Carl Prentice. I still remember your one's name. I'll get Carl Prentice after you. I don't know who Carl Prentice was. But like, she sounded menacing. You know what I mean?
But see, the thing was is that, the whole different ball game now. Is that the landlord gets the blow over the whole time now, but the whole thing is gone. It has to be up at a certain standard, but then they could leave the place and leave it in pure shit. And there's nothing. And they can you know. I know one case where this house up in up by the water tower, a fellow owned it, and he put out your man. He got him out and finished up out of the house. And he gave the house then to the council for them, to rent it for him, to have. And what did the council do? When the house was cleaned up and done, let the same fella back in.
No way.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's mental.
No.
That is madness.
But it can be, you run your wits about you for that.
You would, yeah. But I think you can ask me, I don't mind, lads.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, I find all that stuff really interesting, like the... I don't know, because it's interesting to hear your perspective, because as you said, like, I think when it comes to landlords, it's all like, I think everyone's kind of like a bit like, there's nearly this stigma around landlords that they're all like given, but like at the end of the day, I don't think people understand what it's like to actually own something and have someone else kind of wreck it, but there's nothing you can do about it.
But the thing about this, I think down the road, well, if the government keeps taking 50% of your,
nobody's going to bother with it.
The people are not going to bother with it.
I was talking to someone on Friday who just got out of it, and he was just saying, like, you're paying 50% tax more or less on it. He said,
is that what?
Yeah. So you gather the money. He said, and by the time they were out of it, it's wrecked. So you put the money back in again. There's no money.
You can't. You can only. You can only offset certain kinds of things again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we got a little house in Broderick. Olga got her wired the other day, and she came home and she was in shock. What the cost to wire the house. A 2-bedroom house and a granny flat at the back of it. Usually 4,000, maybe 4.5 would be max. 9,500.
I know,
Gee, that's more.
Like a couple of years of rent then.
That's 2 years of rent gone.
Yeah.
And just the wiring, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
nothing else.
And then you have another problem in 2 years' time that you've.
Of course you will.
It's just like.
So I mean, what are you getting out of it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But if we were back again, though, it was something that you just keep going.
Yeah.
And you do build something up eventually, but it's a lot of work in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work in it. But then, I suppose, no matter what you do in life, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work in it. I mean, Greg works 15s.
He does.
If you go up to Greg's, sit down, he'll get finished maybe 7 o'clock. He'll have something to eat maybe. guarantee you one thing, he's on that phone.
Yeah.
So that's like constant ringing. Americans, Germans, Holland, they're all looking for him.
You have to love it, don't you? I think to go that much, there is that sort of buzz, like where the non-going. I kind of enjoy that too. It's nearly addictive, like where you just want to keep.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it is when you have horses there belong to me, they all want to ring to know how is my horse going. And, and
okay, listen, Austin's about to leave school, right, and about to buy a tractor. You know, if you could meet him now at a crossroads there at the Rag and say, Austin, listen to me here, what would you say to him?
I'd say he'd be mad if because for start off, he wouldn't have a hope of doing it now.
No, but like the Austin back then, what would you say to him if you could drive it on? You're going to have a great time.
Would you do it all the same thing again?
No, you would have a hope.
Yeah.
For a start off, the first house I bought for $5,000. Where would you get the house for $5,000 now?
Yeah. But I think he's kind of saying if you could go back to that time and meet your younger self,
what would you say?
What would you say? Like, would you say go? Is there anything you do differently in life?
No, I'd probably do that. I wouldn't be happy in a 9-to-5 job.
No.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
what about lads today, though? Modern people. Any advice you give them?
Well, the advice I give lads, I tell everybody and anybody that they are listening to this or anyone here, don't ever retire.
Brilliant.
Because if you retire there, unless you have, your head wants to be buzzing in the morning. I have this to do, that to do, the other thing to do. You never think of your health. You think your health, okay, I'm a great man, but I have to be health now. But you haven't to think about. You might have a pain in your back. There'll be no pain in your back when you're busy.
True.
It is true.
That's so
I
true.
found a woman the other day, and her husband is after giving up work now, and she's dreading it. She said he has his head stuck in the sink. If I put on a bit of meat, he's looking in it to see what I'm cooking.
Oh no!
And he doesn't play golf. But you take it, and I mean. I see most of the lads there that are in jobs there for 60 go off play golf. How long do they live?
I know
it's
could you pick out many but 8 years of age?
I had this conversation as well.
Could you?
There's this mental trick as well with retiring. People age really quickly when they retire because if they built it up for all these years that they've sort of set this flag in their point where they get to this point they're going to turn old all of a sudden. But like you often see with people like yourself who never had that sensation and never picked, okay, at this age I'm going to be old, because retiring is sort of saying that.
I did,
you kept going and you have full of energy.
I have no notion of any description of retiring. Until I'll be gone, I'll be doing things, and I'll be in that year. I have to be licensed now for another 3 years. So I hope to God that the doctor will take me lightly after 3 years again, and she'll give me another 3 years.
Either that, you'll have to get another doctor.
Well, there's nothing impossible.
Nothing's impossible.
If she wants to hold her position,
I'd try every angle anyway. But no, that's. I mean, I think most people. I don't know. I just can't understand how lads retire. They go to the golf club and play a game of golf.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it has to be boring sometimes for them.
It must.
Yeah, it is.
But if I go to a show and see Greg's horses jumping, the horses jumping well, there's such a buzz in that.
Definitely,
I'd say that's a big part. Would you say that's a big part of it though? Like, a big sort of part is that you really enjoy what you do, because I feel like when you
if I didn't enjoy the horses, I wouldn't bother go to see them.
Of course,
because for some people that's a very boring day to go to a show and watch horses jumping. I could stay there all day, watch every horse jumping.
Lovely.
But that's what I mean. Like if I continue like what I'm doing now and stuff, I enjoy what I do in life, and if I used to continue that, I could see myself doing it forever. I'd never retire. But if I got caught in something where I felt like, God, I would rather kind of retire and just play golf and stuff, like, do you know what I'm saying? It's nearly like to not retire, you nearly really want to enjoy the thing it is, if that makes sense. Or even if you do retire, go find something that's like
find something. Do something. Most of the girls retire though. They very few of them stay retired.
No, I know.
They know that they're gone off to. They're different. They're different breed. They're gone off reading meters, or they're driving school buses, or they're
that's really true. I never noticed that. Why is that? Do you think it's just
they're bored?
They're always out in the field.
They're always on the go, you see. And they want to be moving and well, and Guards love money.
Would you have been a good guard, would you?
I put no on.
You'd lay everyone off. That's funny.
Some crack.
Yeah. That's gas.
I know.
I think we finish up now. We're actually past the hour mark, but it was a good conversation.
Yeah, sound. Thanks very much, Austin.
Don't forget, would you? I don't know. We have a few guests that come on sometimes where we feel like there's a lot in it. If you're ever up for coming on again, I
have no problem, no problem, because things change all the time. Things get better. I hope they won't get worse, but they get better all the time.
Hey, you're the type of you could write a book with some of the stuff. I get the sensation. There's a lot of stuff we obviously didn't have time in an hour.
Sure. I mean, I was in the Chamber of Commerce here
really?
I gave as president for 2 different sessions.
Oh, wow.
I remember I introduced Ben Dunn. I brought him in from the other day.
Did you?
And Ben Dunn said, "This man is taking over for me. I don't pay night talking at all."
That's funny.
Yeah, he was good. I took him into the Arts Bar and a few of the pubs around. And
good crack, he was.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Now he was in some kind of bother at that time.
Okay.
Because they were wondering would he come in. I think it was at the time at the house in Ben Dunn and that.
I don't know, yeah.
Do you know that he was getting lads were saying Ben Dunn did it up his house for him or something.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a lot in politics.
What do you think of Alan Kelly going out in politics now?
Oh God, I don't know anything about anything, to be honest.
We're not political.
No, I just try and record podcasts and keep I don't know. What? I think we'll finish up though.
Kieran's going to go for the council and
yeah, I will. We're planning on going for the council.
Yeah.
What's your second name?
Considine.
Are you from town, are you?
No, I grew up here. Like my father grew up here, and he grew up in Kilnall, but moved here young enough. Mother's from Cashel, but yeah.
The name is familiar to me, though.
Yeah, it could be. There's not too many of us around. Like any Constantines around would be my family. There's only, my grandfather is from Clare. They all moved kind of.
Where did your dad? Did your dad work in Tullochsy?
Yeah, he's up in Dew Valley. He works up in Dew Valley.
No.
But yeah, sure. I think we finish up now anyway. So
that's okay for you?
Perfect.
No, it's good.
Idea.
Thanks everyone for watching and listening, and subscribe. Thanks. I'll see you next week. That was brilliant.
That's class.
Taste of strawberry medicine as it runs down my neck. I feel it draw me in, and when it settles on my mind, just know you'll find me there inside.